Okay, so then today what I want to do is see if I can show you the steps for the trapezoid that changes into a rectangle. So let me start that. I'm going to get rid of my axis and I'm going to get rid of the grid for now. I'll start the typical way, which is going to be with two sliders. I'll click here and A is going to go from 0, increment by 1. Press OK. Give a little bit of space in between and put my second slider, which is now going to be an angle. Change this. This is typically called alpha, but I'm going to change it to the letter T. Alpha is a Greek letter, basically. My minimum stays like this, and this goes up to 180 degrees. And that's it. I'm going to press OK. From here, I go ahead and I include a segment with a given length. So that means I'll click on this area. And the length of this is going to be determined by this slider. So what I got to do there is type A. I go to my arrow tool and I simply check to see this is behaving correctly. That means that this should grow and shrink all the way down to 0. I'll put it all the way up to 5. And what I'm going to continue with now is I'm going to add a set of perpendicular lines from the point along this line, from this point along the line. Okay. Once I have that, I will add myself an extra point. It has to be along the line, and it really doesn't matter if it's this line or this one. I'll put it here. So once I have that there, I will now add a new perpendicular line based on this point along this line so that it cuts across in this way. Okay, so now that I have that, I can add a point right at the intersection here. And I happen to know that that point is wrong because look at what it does. It's supposed to be stuck in the corner. So whenever that happens, simple fix, just press delete and get rid of it. So I'll try that again. Add a point, and I want to go right at the intersection, so as close to the corner as I can. There we go. See how that changed to a different point style? So I think that one's correct. I will test it, and I notice that I can't move it anywhere. Okay. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a set of segments, which are going to go from here to here, here to here, and here to here. Now, once I do that, the only reason I do that is so that I can hide these particularly long lines. So my perpendicular lines need to be hidden. So this is going to be hidden. This one's another perpendicular, and this is a perpendicular. So these are the 3 perpendicular ones that I had, and I just hid them all. All right. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to move this over a little bit. Click on A, move this over a little bit, and I'm going to add what are going to be called midpoints. Okay, and it's going to be the midpoint's going to be along this line and this line. So in order to do that, what I will do now is I'm going to click. I'll purposely click towards the bottom right here. Notice how it lands in the middle, and I'll click at the top here. Still lands in the middle. And that's exactly what it should do. It should only touch right in what we call the midpoint. Now to test this out, what should happen is that if I make this longer, that point and this point should still stay within the middle. If I make this shorter, doesn't matter, same thing happens. Okay, so what I'll do now is I'm going to go ahead and I will use my angle tool by using the angle with given size. Okay. Now remember that the order for this does matter. So what that means is the vertex or the corner where the spinning happens has to be the second point. So for me, that means I start here and then here. That now changes to letter T because T is the one that's going to determine the angle measurement of this object. Okay. I'll keep it counterclockwise. And here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that this counterclockwise means it's going to spin this way. So it goes from the bottom and up to the top along this edge. Okay, so I'll press OK. And there's the point that I want. So now I'm going to just add a segment to make that into a solid piece. And I'm going to test it. It should look like this is spinning up to the top. And it is. Now, at this point in time, I usually leave it open. I never do my next step with this closed because this is now technically 2 points there. So I open it up so that I don't ever confuse this point with that one. Now, having said that, what I want to do is I want this edge here, from here to here, in this corner to be a 90 degree. Anytime I think about a 90 degree, I'm thinking about a perpendicular line. So I'll go to my tool perpendicular, and it's going to be this dot along this line, and here's my perpendicular. The cool thing is that once I do that, I go ahead and I can now add 2 segments, one from the corner here at some distance, it doesn't matter where, and from here attached to the center, this midpoint section. Now, just like I did earlier, I don't want to see this line. It's too big and it doesn't do anything anymore. So for right now, I'm going to hide it. I believe that this one is here. So I'm going to click on to see what happens. There we go. So that one is now eliminated. And I'm going to test it. It should appear like this triangle piece is literally just up and down. Okay. All right, so I'm happy with that. The next thing I'm going to do is I am going to purposely hide. Well, actually, no. I think I need to do something else. I'm going to go on this side and I will create this triangle piece on the opposite side. So that means angle, right, with given size. And again, this is the corner where it's going to be spinning. So this is the vertex. So this is always second. So first here, second there. And it's still going to be controlled by T, because T still is going to control my angles. Counterclockwise means it's going to spin the same way as the one that I already have. That means it's going to spin on the inside of the shape. I don't want that to happen. So what I'll do here is I'll switch it to clockwise. Press OK. And it should appear like it's on the opposite side here. Now I'll add my segment like I did before. There we go. And I'm going to test the movement. So there we go. They're moving correctly. And this is like a mirror image of this. So just like here, I ended up with a corner piece which was 90 degrees. I want to do the same thing here. So perpendicular, of course, from this point along this line. There it is. And it's just a repetition because I'm going to go ahead and create my segment pieces here. And I'm going to hide this one. So that's here. Now I'm going to purposely make it so that this triangle is different than this triangle. It doesn't have to be, but it's a choice that I'm making. Okay, and I'll test it. Okay, this is the shape I have. This is how it's behaving. All right, so far so good. One thing I want to check for is that these don't crisscross each other. So this is kind of what I'm looking for. So I think that at this point in time, what I'm going to do is I'm going to see if I can hide. I'm going to call these corners. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this new tool, which is called the checkbox. And I'll put it up here somewhere. Now, here's the issue. Let me cancel this. I want to, sorry, let me cancel that correctly. Go back to my arrow tool. I want to move this on my screen maybe around here so that I can take a look at the pieces that I'm trying to hide, I guess. And so I want to hide this segment, this point, this segment, this point, and this segment. So let me try it. I'll add my section there, and I'm just going to call this show corners. Now, in order for this to work, though, I have to know the objects I'm going to hide. So here is what I mean. I know C and D have to be hidden, so I'm going to start with C and D. Here is C. Click over here, and here is D. All right, so I got the 2 points. Now I want to have the segment from C to A, or from A to C. All I know is that it's a segment, so all of these are lines, numbers, points. So I got to scroll down to segment. And I see a little J there, so let's see where J is. Here we go. That means from A to C. So I know A is down here and C is here. So it must be this. The next one I want is from C to D. So go back down to segment again, and from C to D. It's right here. And the last one should be from D to B. All right, so go over here, go down to segment, and here it is, D to B. All right, so I have all these pieces. I'm going to go ahead and say OK. And now I'm going to test it. Sorry, got to go back to my arrow piece and test it. Now, this happens every so often, so no problem. What I do here is I just move the object back to the more or less center of the screen. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go to my settings tool. And this right here says true. So what I'm going to do there is I'm going to purposely write the word false and press enter. So I'm seeing this and it's not a problem. I'm going to ignore it. And I'm just going to go ahead and press axiom. And now when I click on this, I should be able to hide it and bring it back. That's it. That's what I want to be able to do. All right. How am I going to clean this up? Well, let me open this up a little bit. Always have to be opened and separated. And I'll finish by adding a polygon. And look at how I'm going to make this polygon. I'm going to start here, go all the way around, and end here. Okay. But I'm not going to go up to this corner. I'm going to go up to the midpoint. So take a look. From here to here, cut across at some made up angle, I guess. Then here the same way, cut across to this, here, and finish where you start. All right. At the same time that this is happening, might as well take care of the triangle pieces. So triangle pieces, same rule. Always go back to where you started. Start here, go around, and come back to where you started. That's it. All right, so let me adjust this. I'm going to put this here like this. And this one was pretty good. So let me just kind of overlap them, make them look good. This one seems a little bit off. So I'm going to overlap it like this. There we go. So it has the illusion I want to create. I'm going to get rid of the corners. And I'm going to, now I have here my trapezoid, which when I spin it, creates my rectangle. And if I want to, I can show the corners so you can see the missing things. Or I can leave them hidden. Now, the only thing that would be left for you to do at this point in time would be just to clean it up. And to clean it up, what I really mean by that is I want to be able to go to my settings tool. I want to select my object, let's say here, and I want to unclick show label. I don't want to hide it. I just want to not show the label. So C should be gone. So that's it. You want to clean it up, and that's pretty much it. All right. That part, I think you guys are comfortable doing by yourself. Don't forget that you still have to add the buttons to be able to run, stop, and reset. And that was put into your post for this week. Okay. So hope this made some sense. Let me cancel this here. And we're done. All right.